Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how introverts can get ahead and be successful when it comes to networking and conference events. So let's get into it. So the first one on my list for a key tip for introverts is to do your research and prepare as much as you can ahead of time. That's typically something that I've always liked to do before I go to business conferences that include some networking events mixed in. And what I always like to do is go to the organization's website to see what the speakers are going to be talking about, the overall agenda of the event, who the speakers are, and then what does the schedule look like in terms of starting times and ending times? When are there built-in breaks? That often includes the networking or the social event, and then of course you have lunch, and then anything that could be after the conference, like after hours, or more people to get together. And what that helps me do, and what would help you as well, is then you can start planning out who you want to see, and who you're interested in hearing, who you may be interested in meeting when it comes to speakers. But then you can also look at who the sponsors are, and a lot of times it'll tell you the company, and sometimes it'll actually give you some individuals. And if there's companies on that list that you need to meet in terms of attendees, then that could be another reason or another way that you can be on the lookout for those companies so you can meet some individuals. The next one is arrive early. And why that's beneficial for introverts is because if we can arrive early in a room, it helps us walk into a situation where we have more control and we're a little bit more at ease, because it's best when there's only like vendors, if there's booths, right? And the vendors are setting up their booths and they're busy. There's not really anybody walking around on the floor. And that lets you basically get the lay of the land, understand like where the entrances are, where the exits are, where you can like take a break in a hallway. How do you get outside? Where are the restrooms? Where's the beverage station, wherever that's going to be set up, where the meeting rooms are. And so that allows us to kind of move in, get comfortable, maybe stake a spot with your bag, and then as more people start coming into the conference or the networking event, you're less likely to get overwhelmed because you're starting to see the trickle in instead of walking into a completely full room, and then your anxiety sets in, and then you're completely overwhelmed, and then it may not work out for the best for you for that particular day. Another thing that could be really helpful is if you can take a friend. So a friend can serve multiple purposes. One, you could use each other as like landing bases. So if you go off and meet new people, you always have a place that you can go back to, a familiar face, someone that you already have a good relationship with, and it makes it really easy to reconnect and talk to them, and it allows you to like calm down and tune out external distractions when you're not in that mindset of going out and meeting new people. And it's also great like if there's networking and presentations or conferences, speakers going on, then you two could have a table and like a little home base, if you will, that you can always meet back up at, and that you can agree upon when you're going to meet up and who you're going to be listening to, so you can always have that reconnection. And then what that would also do is allow you to like re-energize before you go back out and start networking again. So when it comes to networking, it's best to have a few easy questions on hand. It's best to have like an introductory sentence about, introducing yourself and who you work for, and then also asking what that person's name is, and they could easily just respond after you introduce yourself. And you can ask them what they do for the company, and how long they've been there, and what do they enjoy most about their job. And so that's 2 or 3 easy things right off the bat that can get a conversation going, and then you can get responses from them. And so depending on the response, you may be interested in learning more about that individual, and maybe not, and that's okay. So even though it's a networking event it still feels like there's a lot of people that are pretty closed off and don't want to talk to other people. They go there to see other people that they already know, or they're going there because they're obligated to help with the company. So, and you're going to get that feedback once you ask those initial questions. But if those initial questions go well, that can lead to deeper conversations about the business, and then maybe even what hobbies they may like, or what they may be doing for an upcoming holiday, or maybe some their next planned vacation, whatever that may be. And you can just start learning a little bit more about that individual. So when it comes to meeting these new people, us as introverts have to be careful with how much energy we're expending, because it's very easy for us to be drained by these interactions, especially if we're going from one person to the next. So we need to take breaks, and that's really important for us. And like I mentioned earlier, we get there early, we can kind of plan out where little stations are. So whether that's a hallway, the main lobby, taking a break outside and getting some fresh air, those are all really important things to lower that stimuli that's around you, kind of gather yourself back up, and then be able to re-enter. And so sometimes you can take a break by yourself, and sometimes you can take a break with the friend you brought. And so you can kind of do these things together to keep both of your energy levels up. Next thing is setting realistic goals. So because of the energy that we're spending, because of our anxiety levels can often be heightened in these situations, or being overwhelmed, we want to be able to set a realistic goal, and then be happy or be fulfilled with that goal. So whether it's just to meet 5 people or 10 people, or listen to a certain number of conferences or papers, and then go introduce yourself to that speaker afterwards, and make sure you compliment them on something that's relevant to their presentation, something that they can relate with and that you can relate with. But the goal is to set a goal that you can achieve, and then feel proud of yourself and feel fulfilled at the end of the day. That leads us to the next one, which is having an exit strategy. So if we have our goal set and we met that goal, then we know that we feel good about ourselves. We hit that mark that we wanted to hit, and then that can serve as our exit point. So it doesn't even have to stay to the end of the conference. It doesn't even have to. You don't even have to go multiple days if you don't need to. If you establish that goal early, you can use that as your exit strategy. Another way you can set an exit strategy is if you are using like the last speaker, or a particular speaker in the middle of the day, and that's the last one that you want to see. So you're going to give yourself that amount of time up until that speaker to meet the number of people that you wish to meet, and then that's going to be your exit strategy. So that just makes it easier on yourself, and you don't feel obligated to hang around and try to talk to more people when you've already met your goal, and you don't need to put yourself in that situation. And the last one is following up. And this is probably the easiest one because we can do it remotely and online. So whether that's by email, if you got that person's contact information, or on LinkedIn, and you can try to connect with them that way and send them a note about meeting them at the conference, and you're looking forward to working with them and learning more about them. But it's important for us to follow up because we want to establish that connection. And it goes back to the past videos that I've made about introverts needing and wanting that deeper connection with fewer individuals that is more meaningful to us. And so if we follow up, that can serve as a reminder for ourselves about the individual that we just met, and we want to establish that business relationship with them. But it also helps the other individual remember who you are and what you talked about possibly, and then maybe that can also be reciprocated, and they would like to connect with you and continue growing that professional relationship in that way as well. There you have it. There's a lot of different tips that we could take advantage of to help prepare ourselves for networking events and conferences. And it's all just about how you prepare and how you set those realistic goals for yourself. So hopefully that helps. If anybody has any other tips that they've tried, or maybe a networking event that didn't go so well, please leave a comment below so we can all talk about it and support each other. So until next time.